Hi, I'm Carl, and I am here with Ryno from the ShadowProject to find out a little bit more about it and about Ryno himself. So, let's dive right in. What is the ShadowProject?
The ShadowProject is a open source decentralized project. It's a community-driven project with a few different functional areas. We have Shadow Cash, which is our privacy currency, cryptocurrency, and then Shadow Chat, which is our encrypted peer-to-peer chat system. Yeah, the whole Shadow project is largely driven by the community. There's people helping with the website, there's people helping with translations. It's all derived from all around the world. I mainly work on the crypto side of things, so the secure messaging, Shadow Chat, the cryptocurrency, which is Shadow Cash, and now working on the marketplace, which we haven't got a name for yet, but we're getting there.
So, how did you get started with the ShadowProject?
I left my job in 2013, or at the end of 2013. I was planning on starting a new job, but then I just bought a new gaming PC, so I had some nice ATI graphics cards. I was mining cryptocurrencies back then, and it was really profitable, so I bought a few more graphics cards, and I started getting really into the crypto coin scene. I was really enjoying it, and then the mining profitability started going down heavily, so I wrote a trading bot. That was quite cool. It was doing arbitrage trading from exchange to exchange, making anywhere between 2 and 5% gains a day, which I thought was good. And then all of a sudden started making a few losses because of pump and dump schemes and stuff like that. So I went and looked on Bitcoin Talk. There were a few bounties on other crypto projects, so I decided, okay, well, I can start getting myself some bounties. So I started coding, and I noticed the code bases were all very similar, and coins were popping up all over the place. So I thought, hey, why not start our own coin? So we started the coin, introduced stealth addresses, and then we added the secure messaging, and then the anonymous transactions, and the community was just growing. It was really fun. It was just all community driven. That's how it came about. Thought it was just going to be around for a few weeks or months, but it ended up being a real project.
So, how does an open source decentralized project like Shadow stay afloat? And how much time do you actually dedicate to it, balancing it with like your job and stuff?
In the past, I have worked on Shadow full time. I've been lucky enough when donations were coming in nicely. We had a bigger community, but obviously the development didn't carry on as well and as fast as it was earlier on. People burnt out, others lost interest, or just became too much for them. So our team has grown and shrunk and grown and shrunk. At the moment, I actually do have a full-time job, also as a programmer. I've had a full-time job for the past 7 months, and Shadow's actually been a hobby. It's actually a lot better that way. I seem to enjoy it a lot more, and I'm more passionate about it because it doesn't feel like work. It feels like something I want to do. I'm contributing to it. It's not something I have to do. And our team at the moment, it's somewhere between 5 and 10 people. I'm not sure who's working full-time, who's working part-time. Just people come and go. There'll be someone who all of a sudden for a week or two they're working full force. There's just commits coming through and they're contributing constantly, and then they'll be quiet for a few weeks. So I guess that's kind of the nature of an open source project. There's no one there's no real constant. It might not be the best thing, but that's how these projects work, or that's how I believe they work. There are some with large funding and they can carry on, and then there's people who are able to work on those projects the whole time. But yeah, I think we have a nice team, and the people do it because they're passionate about it.
So I feel like it's a fairly obvious question, but how do you compare to Bitcoin? Like, what are the similarities, and where do you differentiate yourself?
No, well, Bitcoin is very well funded. Obviously, Bitcoin's the center of this whole altcoin ecosystem. Without Bitcoin, we wouldn't really be here. And obviously, Bitcoin is very political. We don't have to worry about all of that yet because we're such a small team. Sure, if we grow someday, it might be a whole different story. But yeah, it's a nice community project, let's put it that way. Whereas Bitcoin's like close to a mainstream global project. We're definitely not on that level.
Okay, so with Shadow, how do you go about creating a deliberately decentralized project? What are the challenges associated with that, and why do you think a decentralized project is absolutely necessary?
I think the reason there's a need for decentralized networks is cuts down on the hosting costs. It's actually the community and the users who are running the network. The biggest challenge is the development. Obviously, the development team's quite small. It's not really people who are holding much of it either. So that's a big challenge in a decentralized environment. But yeah, I think the reason we need it is, I guess, to take the power away from centralization. You don't want the banks running everything. You want to give the power to the people.
Now, the Shadow Marketplace is a completely decentralized store with privacy at its very core. Does that not give more opportunity for illicit activity?
The exact same opportunity exists for people. Even on the Tor network, anyone can go and host a hidden site. No one's going to be able to trace it. They can set up their shop and run their market just like Silk Road. It's the sellers who slip up. We're not really enabling people more than what it is. We're just making the actual selling of things cheaper and more cost effective by having it decentralized.
So how do you fight against the illicit activity when one person and one company is not supposed to have the power? It's meant to be completely decentralized.
Okay, well, firstly, we'll have an ever-growing list of hard-coded keywords that would immediately be filtered out. But we're trying to code it in such a way that the community will be able to police it. So users of the system will be able to earn rewards by kind of blacklisting ads and keeping it clean. So there will be some type of reward in place for the community administering it.
Now, do you think that law enforcement agencies around the world are going to see a decentralized, completely anonymous marketplace as a threat? And do you think it will be a target for them to shut down?
It's an open source decentralized project, so if we can try our best to keep it as clean as possible, there'll be no reason to shut it down. The law enforcement will be more aimed at going after the sellers than the actual marketplace, because if we try our best, we know we're trying our best to keep it clean, and that's what we want. So it's the sellers who will hopefully slip up, and then we'll keep them off of the system.
So on a slightly less doom and gloom note, what sort of things do you hope will be sold on the Shadow Marketplace?
Hoping we'll get all kinds of items sold on here. TVs, sound systems, cars, houses. Hoping people use it as a classified system, or use it as kind of like eBay. You could sell new goods on there, second-hand goods. You can open up your own shop, or The only difference is it's not going to be, the verification process won't be so strict. We're going to try our best to have a reputation system where people can keep a history of what they're selling, not what they're selling, but transactions that have gone through positively. And if you're not keeping a good identity, or if you want to keep yourself completely private, then the reputation system's not really going to bother you. So you'll just start up a new shop type of thing. I believe it'll allow people to create their own type of brick and mortar systems a bit easier. It'll just make, hopefully, online marketing, online selling as a whole a lot easier.
Obviously, the Shadow Marketplace is going to accept Shadow Coin, but do you plan to have support for any other cryptocurrencies, perhaps later on down the line?
At first it's just going to be Shadow, but we do plan to allow people to exchange different decentralized currencies. Obviously, with smart contracts and stuff, it's definitely possible. So I guess in the end, if we do it right, there will be the ability to use more than one currency. But yeah, initially it'll just be Shadow.
Do you have any idea who is currently using Shadow Coin, like what their demographics are and whereabouts in the world they're from?
Well, I guess it's not accurate to look at how many nodes are out there, because there's obviously people holding offline, people who come online now and then and stake. But the kind of demographics that we do have is people in their 20s to 30s. I think more than half of it's Americans, and quite a few people in England, and then Europe, Netherlands, Belgium, France. I would say very few South Africans, me being one. And I don't know if it's really people who are using it who want to use it for privacy. I think it's people who are using it at the moment just believe, I don't know, they believe that there's something bigger coming with it, but yeah.
One final question. What are your hopes for the Shadow Project's future overall? You know, how you want Shadow Coin to develop, the market to develop, and, you know, any other areas you'd like to go into?
Well, I do hope that we grow. I hope that there'll be more people using it and that we have some real world use cases. But I don't believe that it's the type of project that would be considered mainstream. It's more for enthusiasts, and because it's such a privacy related project, it's definitely more aimed at your people who want their privacy. We definitely want to add some payment processing functionality to make it easier for people to add that to their websites and to accept Shadow at their shops. We're hoping to get onto some crypto ATMs. There's already been some contributions towards ATM software by some of our community members. We hope to get our mobile network going, so that people can use it wherever they go. Don't just want it to be what it is now. We definitely need to grow. We need to get some traction out there in the world. Probably not mainstream, but we want to be more popular, definitely. Want to see Shadow being used in a lot more countries, and definitely want it to be more accessible.